Welcome to The Witch Next Door. I'm Emily.
I'm Veronica.
And this week we are going to chat with you about the Major Arcana. And we are going to be chatting with you about the Major Arcana. Whatever.
Arcana.
Yeah, we're going to go with that. Which is the Fool's Journey. There's a story arc that occurs within the cards. I have some cards right here.
I have some cards too.
Right. Look at mine. Look at
my cards. There's so many different kinds of tarot cards.
There are so many different kinds of tarot cards. And so we're going to be talking specifically about the Rider-Waite-Smith deck tradition of the Fool's Journey and the Major Arcana.
Thank you for saying Smith, by the way. She gets left out.
She does get left out, and I am totally guilty of doing. I know.
I did all this.
I am guilty of doing that.
Me too.
Because I'm so used to. Look, mine this box just says the Rider Tarot.
Weight got
right out too. I don't know. I got that on Etsy, so who knows? But
yeah, well, she did all the artwork
on the OG deck.
Pretty amazing.
Yes. So Rider-Waite-Smith is what we are working with, and there are, as Veronica said, there are so many decks, and because there's so many decks, there's different art. Some of the cards get renamed in different decks. Sometimes the suits get shifted. So we go from having wands and swords and pentacles and cups to, I don't know. I have this deck that I
coins.
Yeah. Coins is a really common translation. I have one that I love called the Brady Tarot. And in that one, we have roots, feathers, arrows, and horns.
I got one recently that I was like, what? I think feathers was one, and that felt natural, but it had all kinds of different suits where I having to look it up every single time because it didn't resonate.
It took me a while, but I put my little cheat sheet out whenever I would read it, and then I knew because I had it in front of me. And as long as I know what elements the different suits correlate with, I feel like I can really find my way pretty easily. But all of this to say not all decks are created equal. They do shift and change based on the artist, based on the author. And so for the purpose of our discussion today, we are going to be talking about the Rider deck. I am using the Darkness of Light Tarot, which follows this tradition. And Veronica is using... What is that, Veronica? What are you...
This is the Rider-Waite-Smith artwork, but I think it's done in like the... I think this is... I can't remember what it's just actually, aged. It's just aged. They make it look cool.
Yeah, so there's like... it's so original.
And there's no border. Right. Like you can see, this is what I love. It like goes right up to the edge of the card.
And for those of you that can't see, what Veronica just described is exactly what we're talking about. So we're trying this on YouTube this week.
For the first time.
For the first time. So I know some people like to watch videos. Some people like to just listen in. As we're doing this week, we're going to try to focus on the fact that this is actually a podcast and that we won't show you too many things.
Thank you, Emily, for reminding me that we're also just going audio.
It's so distracting when you can see yourself, right? Because you're like, but look, I want you to look at my card, and then you have no idea what we're talking about. So we have to describe it. But what's fun is to kind of hang out with your friends, or if you're like me and you have an addiction to purchasing tarot decks, it's fun to get out the different cards and look at the different way that it's depicted across decks. So like my Fool, this guy, he's standing on the edge of a cliff, as Veronica's Fool is standing on the edge of the cliff. And they both have dogs, and they both have a little package tied up over their shoulder, right? So the Fool is 0 in the Fool's Journey and in the Major Arcana. It is our first card. It's that first step. Artwork is different on these cards, and the energy of the card feels completely different.
It really does.
Your card looks like, how would you describe that energetically?
He, she, they think it looks like, oh, I'm so ready to go. Like it's this innocent, playful, lighthearted, like I'm about to step over the cliff and don't care. Whereas your art,
I know mine looks
totally
dark.
Different.
Like I am setting out on a quest. I'm a little serious about it. I have all my worldly possessions on my back. It's a little bit like intense, actually. So
he or he looks a little bit more grounded than mine.
Well, he doesn't look like he's standing on the edge of the cliff, but he doesn't look like he's about to step over it.
No.
He looks like he's standing there like, I'm looking at the path that I'm about to go down.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So this takes us to the first card in the Fool's Journey. And out of this today, you might just think about how these different energies correlate to your life. Because what's true is that this is, like I said, a story arc. But sometimes we hang place or we skip a card as we go through our own story arc in our lives. Sometimes we have a little like cluster.
Like, I'm just going to hang out with the Hermit right now
for a while, and then the star is going to creep in somewhere in the distance. And then eventually there'll be a little judgment. I don't know. Anyway, I'm just saying we don't always follow this story arc perfectly.
It's not a linear journey, in other words. So if you're going from 0 to 22, you're not necessarily going to go step 1, step 2, step 3. Although, it is a progression. It's not just like in life. It's not from A to B. There's going to be something. There's going to be something in between there to get you there. You know what I'm saying?
It's not just A to B.
Yeah, it's not just A to B. No. There's going to be a lot of steps in between.
There'll be a C and a D.
An A, like, part 1, an A, part 2.
Right. So if we keep pace, we're going to be here all day.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. Okay. So we start at 0 of the Fool.
Yes.
And because 0, I feel like 0, that's the begin. This is the beginning of the journey. You are the Fool.
Yes.
Okay. That's why it's 0.
But in a loving way.
You are the
not
fool.
Like,
so not
yo,
like
fool.
Yeah, not like you're a fool,
no.
like you're ridiculous. It's a different language of the Fool.
Right. Well, the Fool, when you think about the Fool, it's kind of this naivety, right? There's this energy of know all the things yet. I think I might know all the things, but I'm totally wide open to possibility.
Limitless potential.
Oh.
It's an exciting place.
It is exciting. And so that's the beginning stages. That's where we start our journey.
And then more tangible things start to come as you step.
Yeah, along the path.
Yeah. Yep.
It's like when you get really excited about going on a trip and you're like, I'm going to go to this thing and it's going to be amazing. And oh my gosh. And then you start like kind of making plans and then things get real,
Yeah.
And then the motel you planned is sold out or your car breaks down.
Yeah.
That's like the Fool's Journey.
Or you fall in love.
Oh, right. Or you fall in bed.
Somebody else's bed.
We're both married.
Somebody
and and that's not happening. But I can see a younger version of myself being like, oh, hello, cute guy that I met on this road trip.
Okay, so that's the lover's card, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It could be any number of things, actually. It could be the devil.
That could be the devil tempting
It was totally the
Yeah.
devil. Yeah. Anyway,
temptation.
we're not even there yet. That's like some cards down the road. So starting with the Fool, we have limitless potential. We're ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then what happens?
And then you transform into the Magician. So you acquire tools for me.
So I love that you just said that, because you said transform into the Magician, because I always think of it as we meet the Magician.
No, it's you.
Well,
it's your journey.
I know I feel like I always picture it as like, I'm the Fool and I'm going down the road. And now I just met the Magician, and the Magician is really a mirror, but like it's also a separate part of self. And so the Fool is sort of integrating that part of self in that, right?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's just I just want to note that, because I think it's kind of cool to notice the different ways that we also
perceiving that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we transform into the Magician, or you don't.
And then you have all these tools for this journey.
Yeah.
Because you need these tools. This is a big journey. Here. This is the journey of life.
You need more than your satchel that you started out with.
You you somehow transform and are given these tools, or you acquire them.
Yes.
And then
And then
You take
go
another
inside. And the high priestess is all of that inner realm, that deep intuition, that wisdom that lives inside of us, that deep emotion even that gives us information. That's how I feel the high priestess is. And that is really what we connect with. So now we have the physical tools, right, that help us tap in and remind us we're connected to earth and sky.
And then you get the third eye, deep intuition going inside.
Eye. Mm-hmm. And that's what comes next with the high priestess. So we have the external and then we have the internal, and it's all tools.
And then from the high priestess, we transform into the empress, which is, so the empress, she's physical. She is the mother. Mm-hmm. So you have the high priestess, who's this internal, embodies the divine feminine to like, the physical realm of the mother. So like taking care, the planet, like other beings, the beauty, the abundance that the earth has to offer. So she is the mother. You are the mother.
So it's the feminine side. It's all that feminine energy, and it's that nourishment, really, right? It's all of that, that nourishing, caring, fertile yumminess in that feminine energy. And then
with the feminine, after the feminine comes the
masculine.
The masculine.
So we have the emperor, and he is very serious.
He's the father.
Yeah, he feels like a stern father a little bit. Whenever I pull the emperor, I'm, whoa, I guess I need to get it to put yourself in check, girl.
Well, he also represents authority. That feeling of like, here's the line.
Yes.
And he holds the line.
Yeah, I love that. That's a really good description. Mm-hmm. And then what happens?
And then, so you have the feminine, you have the masculine, and then there's a piece that you're like, okay, I need something more. Okay, so these are physical things. And then the Hierophant comes in. So the Hierophant is the spiritual teacher. Mm-hmm. So whether you believe that in this journey you're transforming into that spiritual teacher, it could mean you find a spiritual teacher. Somehow you're getting information from a higher source.
Right. And I would also say, just coming to that, it's like now you've gained all the tools to be able to listen to that teacher, to be able to receive from that teacher, right? Because we have our physical tools and a reminder of our connections. We have the inner tools, right? The intuition, the inner wisdom, all of that. And then we find that balance with the nourishment and nurturing and that more authoritative, anyway, that more masculine energy that's like firm and driven. You have all of that now mixed together. And now you're ready to be able to go, because it's like balanced. Mm-hmm. You can tap into that Hierophant energy, whether again it's an outside source or it's you, or it's both. I think it's both most of the time.
And then from the Hierophant,
the lovers,
we journey to the lovers.
And the lovers
is not just about
love.
It's not just about love.
It's also about choice. What do you choose?
Nice.
Yeah, that's what I often think about when I think about the lovers, is what are you choosing?
I also feel like in this journey, like this is the first step your steps in. So you have, it's all about you. It's you, you have the Empress, the Emperor, the Hierophant. It's all like you. And now it's the lovers. So there's another being in there. It's another entity. Mm-hmm. So you have maybe somebody else, but there's something else besides you.
Yeah. Nice. That's good. That's good. I think it was my turn, but whatever.
Are we taking turns? Sorry, just butt right in.
I think, we were.
It's Emily's turn.
No, it's fine. We're moving on. We're moving on. I might do the next two.
Oh, you do the next two. Please take on the next two. Emily, what happens after the lovers? I wasn't keeping count.
I was trying to be even.
Just,
this is my Libra rising.
This is funny because I am a Libra, but my my lifetime card is the High Priestess.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait, so why is that funny?
I don't know. I think that's because I don't like the external stuff is not as important. So I did not.
And here I am, my Libra rising right in my chart. I'm like, is it even? Is it fair? I don't think this is fair.
Nice. Okay. Now you take 2 and it'll be fair then. There we go.
Okay, look, I'm just going to do the next card. The next card is the Chariot. And Chariot is depicted in the Darkness of Light Tarot. It's very different than the standard Rider-Waite-Smith deck.
Cool.
It's this woman on horseback, and she has an arrow. She's pulling back to shoot. She's taking aim. So when I think about the Chariot, I always think my language that comes up with that is something that has been begun that cannot be undone. Like the ball is now rolling. There is the potential for a snowball effect here. We are going. You are on it. Let's go. You cannot stop this train. That is what the Chariot feels like to me. It is all fire all the time. Now in the Rider-Waite, can I see your card?
Yeah,
Thanks.
of course.
Yeah. So in the Rider-Waite-Smith, deck, we also have these 2 sphinxes that are depicted in black and white. And so there's also this kind of element of balance happening, motion, but there's a balance that's happening as well. He has a little crown of stars. So cute.
Yeah.
Right? I never noticed that before.
I didn't notice the crown before. I noticed the stars.
Yeah, the stars all around in the little.
Cool.
But anyway, that's how I feel. How do you feel about the Chariot, Veronica?
I definitely, it's the forward motion for sure. I never thought of it like you can't stop this train though, because I guess that feels to me like almost like, oh crap.
Yeah.
Like almost like, okay, has so much force behind it that I might not have any power to stop it.
Mm-hmm.
I'd never thought of it that way, but that, doesn't mean that might not happen. Like if I was on, like, let's say the Chariot was happening for me, that could be something that could happen. Like, oh my gosh, like this is I don't really have any control over what is happening. It's just unfolding in front of me. And this train ain't a stopping.
Well, I feel like it's so, and again, so I have so much fire in my chart. It's stupid. But because I have so much fire in my chart, I tend to be a go get 'em kind of person. And I'm like, all right, here we go. And so there is choice, but it's like, there are certain choices you make that can't be undone.
That is
and
true.
That's what the Chariot feels like to me.
For sure.
Like you start something and you can't necessarily undo it. You might be able to like guide the Chariot a different direction, but once there's forward motion happening here, and that's what you can't stop. So that's really what I'm talking about.
And then, so you're moving, and then what happens?
And then we land in strength. And the only reason I wanted to talk about strength is because I've been writing. Oh, look, there goes our light.
Your power source just cut out.
Yeah, totally did. So anyway, I've been writing a story, and in my story, the card strength plays a big role. And plus I'm a huge animal person. So I kind of love this idea of this woman with this fierce lion. Now in the Darkness of Light Tarot, the woman really has like a fierce looking lion. And when you look at the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, the lion looks more
the pet.
Loving and curly.
Yeah.
He has curly hairs. He's kind of, a little sweeter, more tender. Anyway, the point is strength is about kind of being able to step into a difficult situation, being able to step into difficult relationship, being able to sort of take the wild so that a connection can be made.
Yeah, I really feel like the strength card is like more form. Like, so you're moving the Chariot, whereas you were like, okay, it's movement. So that feels more like kind of like airy. Like there's not a lot to grasp hold of. Mm-hmm. Whereas like strength is like the muscles behind it. It's like, that's what's going to get it going. So it's going, but now it's like, okay, I got the strength here to like see it through.
Nice.
Like I got this.
Yeah.
And then I'm ready to collapse.
Are you? You're going to go in? Are you going inward now?
I'm going inward. Light's not cooperating right now.
It's not. I can't fix it.
Okay.
Sorry.
It's all right. We're going inward. So as the Hermit, which arrives now, we don't need the lights right now. We want it to be dark. This is what's happening. So let's take what's happening right now.
Okay.
Yeah. And we want to go inside.
Yes.
So this is a place for introspection. You got to introspect what is going on inside.
Figure that out.
Like, got to get some inner guidance. So you've had a lot happen. Okay. You have gained so much tangible knowledge, and you physically are moving through your life. And then it's like, oh gosh, I need a rest. And this is a rest.
Well, and I'll also add that it's a period of integration, right? So I think, when we think about going inward and having that introspection, there's also this integrating of all the stuff that we've just learned on our journey. And now we're going to go in, and now we're going to hang out with it, and we're going to see, how does it land inside of us? How can we hold this and carry it forward so that we become more whole around it? One of the things that I love about the Hermit is that generally he/she is depicted holding a lantern. And so there's kind of this thought of like this guiding light. If we turn inward, we find that light. It makes me think of the North Star. And to me, when I pull the Hermit, I think of that kind of going inward and finding my own North Star.
Nice.
So, yeah.
That's beautiful.
Sorry, that wasn't balanced. I took 2 cards and then I talked over yours.
No, I want to hear what you have to say.
I know. I want to hear what you have to say too.
Okay, great. So we're moving on.
Right.
To the Wheel of Fortune. So now this card has always been like kind of like an anomaly. Okay, we need to let go of this light thing.
I know, it's really hard for me. It's really hard.
So maybe Emily, you can help me with this card, because
stop focusing on the light.
This card, help me with the Wheel of Fortune, okay? Because this card has always been a little tricky, and I think it's because it's like the Wheel of Fortune, so it's spinning. You have this spinning form of it. So it's what I've always looked at is it's like chance. Like,
oh, interesting.
So this is like, okay, the Wheel of Fortune spinning. There's chance up for grabs here. Karma's even in here. So fate. So it's a lot less tangible. So it always kind of feels more like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know, coming out of this place of the Hermit. So you're inside, you're gaining this kind of quiet inner guidance. And then you're coming to like a turning point, possibly, where it's like the next stage on your journey. Like, because as we spin the wheel of the year, it's like, okay, that's the next step, the next season of the journey. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, when I pull the wheel, I often think of crossroads. Like, I'm coming to a crossroads. There's an opportunity to make a choice here. And I feel like the wisdom that we gain in that Hermit stage really allows us to make that choice from a more educated place or a more integrated place. Conversely, though, I think because it is that spinning wheel, right? And in the Darkness of Light Tarot, it actually is depicted as literally a spinning wheel. Like this chick is spinning some yarn or some fate. She's spinning some fate.
Yeah, it's fate.
But within that are old patterns, right? So not only are you coming to a place to make a choice, but you're looking at all the different factors of who you were before this moment and who you have become and are becoming. And I feel like that is really, it's a very kind of vast card in that way, is that it holds all is, was, and shall be. And you're standing at the epicenter of that, going, which direction do I go now?
Yeah, maybe that always confuses me because I don't like having too many choices.
Yeah.
It's just,
yeah, for sure.
And then, so as the wheel is spinning, we come to something that I can resonate a little bit more with, and that is justice. So, because with justice, it depicts balance. You see the scales of justice, and there's that feeling of balance. So where the wheel is spinning, but then here we've got balance. So that for me, I'm like, oh yeah, my Libra self loves that. We've landed and balance, and we're gonna make sure that there's balance. There's balance, and there is fairness. Like that, you were just talking about things being fair.
Yes,
it's like that is like you're going to see through to make sure that this is fair.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when something happens and you're like, well, wait, you know, like you need to like set a boundary or something.
Oh.
Like when you're feeling you might pull the justice card in your life or something where you're needing to be like, no, this is not right now, you know?
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I feel that with the justice card too. I feel like something is coming into balance or a right will be wronged, essentially. When I pull that card, that's usually where I go with it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. So then we move to
card number 12. Here we are. The Hanged Man. This is such a symbolic card because we have this image of this man hanging upside down from a tree generally. And in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, you will see that he also has like a halo around his head. So it's almost like by hanging upside down, this illumination is created. This sort of vision is created. And it can take you back to the story of Odin hanging from the tree, the world tree, for 9 days, was it? So there's that imagery and that mythology that I think you can pretty easily attach to this card. Whether or not that was the origins of this symbolism, I'm not sure, but that's definitely a place that my mind tends to go. When I pull the Hanged Man, I definitely go to that place of changing perspective and surrender. Because when you're hanging upside down by your feet, you can't do a whole lot. So you sort of have to surrender, right?
Totally.
And when you hang upside down, it also changes your perspective. So sometimes, I'll be honest, when I pull this card, I go hang upside down on my couch.
Oh.
Because I know I need to shift my perspective. What happens if you look at the world upside down? Like literally, what happens if you look at the world upside down? Now, you could take that however you want. Maybe you just need to look at things from a different point of view. But yeah, that's where I go with the Hanged Man.
Yeah, it's interesting because, I mean, you're coming from justice and then you move to this place of like, you're literally upside. So it feels like for me in this, like, as to the next card, this is a transition. This feels like a card of transition. So this is like, okay, I'm literally suspended in space. I am transitioning from like this more earthly realm to possibly something a little bit like higher scale. Maybe I'm going to go to a different plane.
Like death?
Death. Little transformation.
That was good. That was like, we didn't even plan that. Veronica just went there. It was great. Truth is, we don't really plan on most of our podcasts. We just come and talk to you about things. Sometimes we research, but yeah, death.
Yeah, people pull this card and they freak out.
Totally. I definitely have been.
I have been there.
I've been there.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm just going to die. Didn't we do a podcast where I was like, and I pulled death.
Yeah,
and now I'm just
exactly.
Gonna die.
Now I'm going to die. Somebody I love is going to die. Like, I mean, that's obviously could happen. I mean, at any time, but that's good.
Let's talk about that.
Necessarily mean that if you pull the death card, like that's what's going to happen.
Right.
Because death is
it's just an ending. And with an ending becomes a new beginning. So, and you'll see this cycle happening in the Fool's Journey, right? There's like that we learn all this stuff and then we go into this hermitude, right? That's a word.
That's beautiful.
Thanks.
Yeah.
And that's like an ending in and of itself, right? And then there's this integration because as we learn, old parts die away and new ones become, and we have to integrate them, and so we move through that and then we go through this next phase and then we end up at the Wheel of Fortune and we're making decisions and all these things happen that create endings and beginnings again and again as you move through the Fool's Journey. And so this is really like a biggie.
This is the ultimate.
Right. It's kind of go ahead.
There's no, death, that's it.
Right.
Like, it's not like that's it, but you know what I mean? That's the end of the plane that we're living on here.
It's the end of, and so, I sometimes think of it as the death of ego, that when you pull the death card, there is that opportunity for the death of your ego. And in that there is this opening that can occur. It's like next level surrender. We're like beyond Hanged Man here. really, I mean, death is, it's just like, okay, I surrender. And then what happens? You know, what comes next?
Oh, something beautiful. Temperance comes.
Temperance.
I love this card. Just this is the first, what I feel like, what I've seen. I mean, the Lovers is a little water to me, but this is like the first card where I really get water and soothing from.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel soothed by this card. So you have death, and there's this feeling of like an end. Well, it's an ending, you know, and what's the beginning? The beginning is this beautiful depiction of what could be. I mean, some people, you could use the, you know, Judeo-Christian idea of heaven, but it's like, actually the card, it looks like heaven.
Yeah. Like on that deck, it does.
It does. Like there's an angel actually here. And like, it's like a garden, and she's got like one foot in the water and one out. So you've got this balance, and she's got the cups and she's pouring, and there's this feeling of like, okay, like I'm going to be okay.
See, and in this deck, it just makes me feel like The Ring.
Oh,
right. It's a little creepy. I'm not sure.
I'm not soothed by that.
I'm not
Sorry.
soothed by this card either. And every time I pull it in this deck, I'm like, huh. Like, yeah. I feel a little unsettled.
Yeah, her face. You can't see her face.
You can't see her face. And you can see, you know, when you look at the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, you can see the elements all represented here. There's water, but there's also earth, and there's air.
A volcano, it looks like.
There's fire. And that is also represented here, but you have to look very closely to see that this is not just fire. There's also water, and there's earth, and there's air. So it's all here. And so when you think about temperance and balance, there's also this balance of the elements and the way those elements, you know, live alchemically within us, within our energy field, within our personalities, within our bodies, even. Just, you know, some people are fiery, some people are not. Some people are more sluggish, all those things. So I feel like this card is really a call. It's like, oh, okay, death, and then from that comes this balance, like a restart.
I like that you said alchemy, because that, like, this card feels like alchemy to me.
Totally.
It's like, you know, the water, the fire, that you've got the elements, and that is the elements of life.
Yes.
So you're coming from this death place to like life is starting to come back, and then after that you're like, what the heck is this?
Well, I think you get challenged again. So we talked about at the Wheel of Fortune, you know, this idea that our past self and our past patterns are present even as we have this opportunity to make new choices. And when the devil pops up, I feel like this is really what this card speaks to, are those past chains that maybe we thought we let go of as we've gone through these transformations, but they're like creeping back in and like, hey, remember me? I'm that guy at the bar you want to go home with, right? Yeah. Like I was talking about at the beginning of this journey. So my husband's going to die when he listens to this. Just kidding. He won't. He'll just go, okay. But I'm talking about past self, Emily. So the devil really is this, has this alluring quality, but in the card, you see people chained to the devil. And it's because the devil is those things like addiction and attachments. Like all of those things that seem really alluring because they're like easy or fun, but we can overindulge in them.
And they twist you in knots. And the interesting thing is, in the Rider-Waite-Smith, is the chains are loose.
Yeah.
So at any time,
nice point,
you could easily lift them off. But you're in it.
You're choosing it, and it feels like a bind, because it's like that in this deck too.
Yeah. You could just like lift them right off if you wanted to.
They're very heavy.
But they're heavy. Yep. And whatever it is it seems to be appealing.
Yeah. That naughty devil.
Yeah. Oh, wow. It's going to come down.
And
here.
then it's like, whoa, crash the tower.
So sometimes you got to crash and burn, huh?
I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah. My heart just felt really heavy when I just looked at this card right now. Sometimes I can face it with like, I don't know, but for some reason I just looked at the tower and saw the crumbling, and I just felt like, ugh.
This card is the one, like, people don't like the death card. This is the card I have a hard time with. That when I pull it, I'm just like, how could this be positive?
Yes.
Because I like to look at everything positively. You know, I do. I like to spin it in a very positive way.
It's true.
So the positive way, how can I look at this positively?
Well, anytime something crumbles, there's the opportunity for rebuilding. And this tower clearly was not that stable if a lightning bolt is going to destroy it.
Yeah.
You know? So it's the death of old constructs. So here we are again, right? We're circling back through more rapidly now.
Oh, yeah.
Because at the beginning, we got all of our tools. And to be able to do this work, to cycle through. This is like shadow light. Here we go. Whew, it's like really overstimulating.
This is life, man. This is how we live. I mean, it is incredible.
Yes.
What we live.
I know.
This is our human form. Sometimes I'm astounded as to how much we actually endure. So the tower is like, this is like the ultimate in tearing down chaos, upheaval. Like it's like your world comes crashing down kind of thing.
Yes.
Like, but through that you can have hope. Oh, thank you. There's the positive.
The star comes out after that, right? So everything has been shaken down, destroyed, annihilated, and then hope is born. You can see the potential for something new, and that is what the star is, as we are at 17 on our 22 card journey.
That's right, 17. So we're doing pretty good here.
Yeah, we are.
So I mean, we have just moved through like, oh, we got all this good, we're starting off, we're getting everything we need. And like, oh, and then there's all this, oh, interesting. Okay. The wheel's moving, justice, all of that. And then, we've got death, we've got this, maybe some little temperance of love and, alchemy happening, something's happening. And then we're slammed with the devil and the tower. And you're like, oh my gosh. And we get a break.
Oh my gosh. And one of the things that I love about the star card is that you see her pouring water, and she's pouring it into the water, and she's pouring it onto the land. But there's something to me about shedding that comes with that. It's almost like all the grief, all the upset that comes with that, like destruction of the tower, that pouring out of the water to me symbolizes that pouring out. Like, I'm letting it go. I'm letting it move through. I'm releasing it so that I have that openness for hope.
There's definitely renewal.
Yes.
A sense of renewal.
Yeah. Beautiful. Great word.
Oh, so, I mean, we're in the sky. We're in the sky right now. So we have the shining light of the star and whatever, which is the star is our sun, even though we haven't moved to the sun yet. Then on the other side of the bright star that is our sun is. So we move from the star to the moon. So brightness and this hope, this sense of hope. And then you have the cooling and the deep, like we talk about deep intuition with the high priestess and everything. You have that other side of the moon. You go deep. So you're going to have a deep healing. That's what it feels like to me. Like, so you've gone through a lot.
So the moon feels like deep healing.
It feels like a deep
What's
healing.
What's up with the dogs, Veronica? What's up with the little crust? Or are you feeling into all of that in that?
Well, the crustacean, so there's a lobster that's crawling out of it, and that's like the scorpion, it feels like the scorpion energy of like deep dreams and deep feeling. So the Scorpio energy is like deep feeling because the scorpions, the like,
scorpion is a crustacean?
Oh, yeah.
The scorpion is a lobster?
No, he's a lobster. I don't know. I always look at him as a scorpion. I've always looked at him as a scorpion. Do you see him? That does not look like a lobster. I'm sorry. Lobster.
It does. Have you seen a scorpion?
Yeah, I have. I used to live in the desert.
Well, I
touched a scorpion.
I feel like that's a lobster. Just saying.
No, I think you're right. It's coming out of the water. But like,
scorpions water.
Yeah, they don't live in the water.
Although Scorpio.
Yeah, exactly. The Scorpio energy. So this is a
symbolism. It is a feeling place, and the moon is a feeling place. But what I always think of when I look at this card is actually the two dogs, because there is that old story about which wolf do you feed? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Nice, I do.
And I have that proverb up there somewhere. But it's really about like, what are you feeding inside of yourself? And I feel like Veronica's going to the super light, like healing renewal side here.
Yeah.
And I'm going to which just seems, of course, fitting. I'm going to the dark. I'm like, the moon is kind of a shadowy card because it does allow us this access to these deep inner realms, but those deep inner realms are not all like happy rainbows, sunshine, and renewal. There is some crap in there, and our shadow self is we're being asked with the moon, like, are you going to listen to the shadow or are you going to listen to the light, or how are you going to hold both?
Integrate both. That's what I like. Yeah, that's nice.
That's the renewal.
That's good.
So anyway, that's the moon. Moving right along. What comes next?
The sun. Oh, because you have the moon, you have the sun, right?
Oh, look, you have a happy baby in yours, and I have a dog that looks kind of sad.
That dog looks sad in her card.
Supposed to be like, happy little dog in my card.
And this is like a baby that's riding a horse. It's like la 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 la. Like the sun is out. It is summer. Like it's like the best.
And my dog is like, how do I get home? I feel so lost. The sun is there to guide me.
I don't know about that deck. Anyways,
I love this deck.
I want that deck. Now I'm like, I don't like that.
No, it's too dark for you.
Yeah, it's a little dark.
Yeah,
like the light side. But I love the sun card.
Weird, really? You do?
So strange.
So strange.
So you've got the moon, that deep feeling place. Emily was talking about your shadow self, and then you also have the other side, which is the sun. The lightness.
Yeah, it's like positivity, it's success, it's the kind of the culmination of all of these things. It's the light side of all of the things that you've been working through in this journey. You know, it's like, oh, okay, here I am. I can just bask in like the work that I've done and the joy of it all. So unless you're this dog in my deck, and then you're not basking in. Look, he's so sad.
You look so sad, and it's the sun. You should be happy.
Really, I'm disappointed.
Well, it's not surprising because this is what happens. Because the next card is Judgment. Oh. And it's not like, I don't know how you feel about this card, but it's not like the sun card. It's not like, yeah, all right. I mean, you hear the word judgment, you think, oh God, I don't want to be judged.
Well, and it's like Judgment Day. You look at the card,
but
it's like
Judgment Day. This is different than the word judgment. This is how I don't take it as kind of. Okay, actually, I'm really excited that we're towards the end of our journey. Okay, I have to be honest. Okay.
Are you tired, Veronica?
I'm tired, but this has been a lot. Like we have journeyed through, 20 other things. Yes. Like it's exhausting. We have done a lot. Like we have moved through a lot. We've gained a lot of wisdom. Mm-hmm. True. And now we are being judged. Mm-hmm. So this is Judgment Day. So it's like, all right, like really, these people are stripped down naked, and they're like, okay. And this is also a time, like, it feels like a time of, I don't know, is it renewal almost? But like, I am open. I'm open.
Oh, interesting.
Like, because you're totally stripped naked, and you're like, okay,
you're very vulnerable.
There's times when you're just like, all right, goddess, here we go. I am open,
Mm-hmm. I could see that. Judgment, this card is actually one that often makes me feel perplexed when I pull it, because the word judgment is so loaded, or can be so loaded.
Yeah.
And so I do struggle with it, and the fact that it is Judgment Day that's essentially being depicted, which feels kind of disturbing to me. But I like what you're saying right now about that kind of that rebirth, that being stripped down to just your complete purest self, and then being judged. It actually makes me think of Mott, the goddess Mott, and and that idea of having your soul or your heart weighed with a feather. Your heart
is weighed, and if it is heavier than the feather,
you're doomed.
Then maybe something went awry.
Right. But I think this is that place. It's like coming back to again and again, that place of judgment, that place of that weighing out as we move through the Fool's Journey again and again and again in our lives, right? Because it's that constant tearing down, growing back up, tearing down, growing back up. It sounds kind of exhausting when you talk about it like that, but it really is what the reality of a life is.
And judgment is, for me, it's just like, this is me now. Like I have done all of this stuff, and it feels like, okay, this is me. Take it or leave it. Like you're naked. That
sounds like acceptance.
It's like almost, but like you're accepting yourself.
Yeah.
But like letting other people know that, like, hey, like this is me. Like, this
Nice.
is everything that I've been through. Yeah, like their arms are like up and they're like, here we go. Take me as I am. Like, I can't do anything else now. I've already gone through everything. You know?
Total sidebar. We watched Independence Day last night because it was the 4th of July. And there's that scene where the alien ship is above, like, you know, and all down there having the party. And they're like, take me. And that's what I just thought when you put your arms up like that. Anyway, moving on to the last card of the deck.
Card. We're at the end. What's the end? The world. It's everything.
Yeah. In this deck, it's the universe, but it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Same idea. It's this woman. She's naked. She's surrounded by greenery, and like a sash, like she won an award.
She did.
But it's completion. It's the final coming together of all of the things before we begin again. Right? Because once you reach that place of completion, really the only thing to do is to start over again.
So this is like, I love this because we talk about completion, and I feel like we're so like in our society into like, okay, what's next? So, okay, we're starting the Fool again, or we're back here, you know. Usually with completion, like, this is the time you would want to have a ritual or some sort of like time to mark it.
Celebration,
acknowledge everything that you have done, or a completion of a cycle. So this is a completion of a whole cycle. And, you know, so when you're at this point in your life, it could be, you know, graduation. It could be, you know, maybe you're going through divorce. Maybe there's a completion of a relationship, you know, but there's something to be marked here. So because that way we can honoring. Yeah. And then so we can begin again.
Yes. What Veronica said. Ta-da!
We're done. Oh my gosh. Okay.
46 minutes. The Fool's Journey took 46 minutes.
Incredible.
When we tell you about it.
For joining us, everyone.
Yes, thank you. And if you would like to dive a little bit deeper into the Fool's Journey, Veronica and I have crafted a class. We've actually crafted 2. So we have a free class that is a 90-minute class that is, I keep saying class a lot, and I need to find a different word. We have a 90-minute experience for you. That's good, right?
Yeah, that's awesome.
So it is actually available on July 16th. I'm dropping this podcast tomorrow, which is July 6th, and we are offering it in the morning, but you probably won't hear this before that happens. So July 16th, which is a Friday of 2021, at 3 p.m. Pacific time, we'll be hosting this class. And if you can't make that, please sign up for it anyway, because we will send out the replay of that class. And it is a 22 pose series that moves us through the entirety of the Fool's Journey. And then there is time for reflection at the end. So we'll talk a little bit about the Fool's Journey at the beginning. We'll move through all of those poses, experiencing this journey really on a physical level inside of ourselves.
Through yoga.
This is yoga that's accessible to everybody. So wherever you're at in your body, you know, come and give it a shot. You don't have to be like a yoga pro. We're not going to be doing like headstand or handstand or
shoulder stand. We're not doing any
of that. We're not balancing. Well, we might balance
There's
a little bit.
There's going to be some balancing, but guess what? I'm suggesting a wall for everyone. If you be close to a wall. Yeah.
I like that. So yeah, basically the point of this is to make it accessible for everyone, but to be able to help you to again, integrate this experience and this journey into your body, because our bodies hold so much wisdom. Veronica is a certified yoga instructor, and she crafted and curated this series for us. And then we'll be talking at the end. We'll do a couple of yoga spreads at the end that you'll be able to take away with you. I have printouts for you.
Tarot spreads.
Yeah, I said yoga spreads, didn't I? I'm tired, everyone.
Long day. But this is all culminating in our 3-day workshop that we're giving in July.
Yes. So we're offering this free 90-minute course, but then in addition to that, we're doing a 3-day workshop where each card, I almost said yoga pose, each card has its own yoga flow, meditation. We're going to be doing some altar magic as we move through the 3 days together. There'll be some creative arts to help us to process our experience. And really overall, it's going to give you a whole new way to learn the Major Arcana on a really like deep soul level and body level. So our 90-minute class, you can sign up for. The link is in the description of this podcast, or you can just hop over to wisewomanwitchery.com and check out the Tarot Journey link page sign up there, and then you will get all the information about the 3-day workshop as well. Is there more?
We did it. Yeah, we got to sign off. Thank you, everyone.
We got to go home and eat some dinner. Yeah. This is a long. Thanks for hanging with us, everyone, and we will talk to you real soon.